Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for November 2, 2023. And in the news this evening, Portland couple hospitalized after domestic dispute. A common law couple was admitted to hospital for injuries they received during a domestic dispute in Mansion Hill, Portland on Thursday morning. The 25-year-old man was set to undergo an emergency surgery, while the woman, 20, was admitted under police guard, sources told the news. Reports reaching the news indicate that around 5:50 a.m., a domestic dispute developed between both the parties who share a child. During the dispute, the police said a knife was used to stab the man in the right side of his neck, causing a wound which bled. A tussle developed between the two when the said knife cut the female on her left hand. Both parties were taken to hospital, where the man was admitted for surgery. The woman was placed under police guard while being treated for a wound to her left hand. Efforts to ascertain the whereabouts of the couple's child have so far proven futile. Mother of Tonya MacDonald denies her daughter wanted to buy illegal gun. The mother of Tonya MacDonald, the murdered second wife of Everton Beach's Todd MacDonald, has dismissed the suggestions that her daughter was involved in the purchase of an illegal firearm and that she had hired a contracted killer to avenge her father's murder. She was speaking in court Wednesday during the trial of the Portland businessman and his co-accused Oscar Barnes. Earlier in the trial, the prosecution's main witness testified that Tonya had contracted him to carry out the hit and that on one occasion she gave him $500,000 to purchase an illegal firearm. The mother of four told the Home Circuit Court that her husband was shot and killed on November 15, 2018, while they were traveling in a motor car. Replying to one of Mr. MacDonald's attorneys, John Paul Hamilton, during cross-examination on whether she was aware that her daughter was involved in the purchase of an illegal firearm and that she contracted a hit, she replied that her daughter was not that type of person and a coward. Mr. Hamilton asked further if she was aware that on the night her daughter was killed, she had gone to Sherwood Forest to purchase a gun. The woman, who referred to Tonya as her baby earlier in her testimony, said she was not aware. In addition, the court was told that a man known as a Dollar Coin, who drove Tonya to Kingston to pick up goods twice per week, was jealous and obsessed with the 32-year-old businesswoman. Mrs. MacDonald's partially burnt body was found beside her car, which had been set ablaze along a deserted road in Sherwood Forest, Portland, on July 20, 2020. Sleep with the Angels. Paulwell remembers a slain daughter on first birthday anniversary. Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell is remembering his slain daughter Saroya on what would have been her first birthday. In a post on his Facebook page on Thursday, Paulwell shares a series of pictures of the infant with a heartfelt message. Today would have been Saroya's birthday. Happy birthday, Princess Saroya. Sleep with the Angels, his caption read. Paulwell's post prompted an outpouring of sympathy from followers. Sleep in peace, little princess. You didn't deserve this, but the Lord thy God is not asleep, and he will award every single person according to their deeds, one user commented. Happy birthday in heaven, sweet Saroya. She is sleeping with the angels, Philip, and may the angels also watch over you and bring you peace, another posted. The 10-month-old baby, along with her mother, Tashana Patterson, were abducted in September, shot and killed, and their bodies burnt at an empty plot of land in Rockford, East Kingston. The double murder was allegedly orchestrated by Leoda Bradshaw, a U.S. Navy petty officer, and the mother of another child by Paulwell. Bradshaw was charged alongside 3 others on October 13. So far, 2 of the 3 men connected to the brutal killings have pleaded guilty to the crime. Both men are expected to be sentenced on November 15. Shock and disgust over video of baby being tossed during fight between women. Children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison has voiced concerns about the wave of child welfare and neglect sweeping the island in the wake of a viral video making the rounds on social media that showed 2 ladies in a heated physical altercation, one of whom threw a toddler in her care on the ground in a cavalier, almost cruel manner. We need to confirm the location of the incident and the identity of the parties involved. and very importantly as well, the matter of intervention concerning the child. Just seeing how the child was dropped in a very distracted and uncaring manner, we don't know if the child has physical injuries or suffered from head injuries, Gordon Harrison told the news. It begs the questions as to what sort of behavior and the treatment that the child is exposed to on a normal continuous basis. That for me is critical. That kind of assessment needs to be done as a matter of urgency, she added. When contacted, representatives of the Corporate Communications Unit said they were still trying to determine if the video was a recent one, as well as the location and identity of the combatants involved. The children's advocate also remarked on the apparent callousness of the bystanders, who did not intervene in the fisticuffs or quell the animosities between the ladies involved. She dubbed that non-action as a species of absent-mindedness. Clearly, there were persons who were present, recording the incident and having the time to share that video, but none of the persons who were bystanders had the presence of mind to even take the child or to shout at the individuals involved to calm down and remember that you're holding a child. For me, that represents a kind of absent-mindedness, and that's disheartening, she said. Meanwhile, social media users have reacted with a shock and disgust at the incident. This pisses me off. How can a human be so wicked to our child? Wait girl, karma will return. One person wrote in response to the video. Another person added, how can I unsee this? Shake my head. The big wicked girl fling down the baby. All the girl fight her and see her with the baby. Shake my head. Annually, the agency's National Children's Registry receives roughly 12,000 reports of child abuse in all forms, which are dealt with in the best interest of children in need of care and protection. However, in 2022, a total of 15,068 reports of child abuse were brought to the attention of the agency, which is the highest ever recorded over 10 years. St. James, a man charged for shooting death of 5-year-old boy and a man at a funeral. A St. James, a man who was wanted, has been charged by the police over the fatal shooting of 2 persons, including a 5-year-old boy and the injury of the child's father, while they were at a funeral in Johnsall in November 2022. Charged with murder, wounding with intent, and shooting with intent is a 30-year-old Lawrence Walters, otherwise called Larry. His court date is being finalized. Walters was arrested on Sunday, October 29, during a police and military operation. He was subsequently charged. Walters is charged with the November 20, 2022 murder of 5-year-old Tavoy Cummings and the 26-year-old Mason Semiu Shaw, both of Greenchill, Westmoreland. The boy's father was shot and injured in the attack. The police reported that about 2 p.m., the family was in a vehicle and was about to leave the funeral of a man, Tomani Walters, who died in Greenchill on September 20, 2022, when they were pounced upon by the accused and another man who opened gunfire. The 5-year-old boy, his father, and Shaw were hit. They were rushed to the hospital, where the child and Shaw were pronounced dead, and the boy's father was admitted in critical condition. Bahamian students in Jamaica denied a flight home following earthquake. Bahamas Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell has encouraged the Bahamian students in Jamaica to remain in the country as a leaving could be detrimental to their education. Mitchell made the comment as the students asked to be airlifted to the Bahamas after an earthquake with a magnitude of 5.6 rocked Jamaica earlier this week. The better view is for them to remain in place, he said. Follow the instructions of the authorities. Keep as safe as they can. If something catastrophic happens, we will intervene, but at the moment, it doesn't appear to call for that. It is a scary thing, but if you're going to go to school in Jamaica, it's an earthquake zone, so it's a part of the reality. Speaking with the Tribune newspaper on Thursday, the president of the Bahamian Students Association of the University of the West Indies, Mona, Stephen Smith, said many students wanted to be airlifted home in the aftermath of the quake. He confirmed that no one was seriously hurt and there were no reports of damage to people's belongings, although one student told him a sheetrock panel fell on his leg when he tried to evacuate, but he was not seriously injured. Everyone's still on the edge, he said. Just to lay down in the bedroom is still a fright because any kind of sudden movement, loud noise or bump, you feel like the earthquake is about to happen. There wasn't any loss of life. There's more so emotional damage that occurred, but there wasn't any severe building infrastructure damage, said Smith, who added that there has been aftershocks since the earthquake. He also confirmed that Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis shared a voice note with him expressing concern. He said Davis spoke to Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who assured him everything was operational in the country and at the university. St. Thomas authorities ordered demolition of earthquake-damaged house. The St. Thomas Municipal Corporation has ordered the demolition of a house in Ramble after a section of the building collapsed following Monday's 5.6 magnitude earthquake. In an interview with the news on Thursday morning, Chief Engineering Officer at the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation, Odell Felix, said the house had been under renovation. But Mr. Felix explained that the structure was undermined due to excavation work, and as a result, the exterior wall collapsed following the quake.
There was no columns, there was no belt beam to actually tie the building in place. So it was basically easy for it to collapse because there was no structural member to actually support the building in terms of columns and beams. So it was basically poor constructed or cheap construction from back in the 50s because it was actually one of those old long-time concrete house. There was going to be an addition basically to join that, even though there was no approval from the parish council because the actual work that was being done is basically illegal. I'm not sure if it is the own, but it's basically the occupants who occupy the house, the person who lives there. They would have to demolish there.